Hello, and welcome to our presentation, How to Use Webinars to Market Your Business. Today we're going to talk about the goals of marketing and how we could use a webinar to achieve those goals and find out how easy they are to do and what are the next steps to use a webinar. We've taken a sample asking the question, what are the reasons preventing you from conducting a webinar? And 84% of the respondents said one of these three things. Either they don't know how, they thought the technology was too complex, or it was too time-consuming. After the presentation today, I hope you don't feel that way. I think we'll answer most of those questions. And what are the goals of marketing? Well, basic goals of marketing are to build a relationship with your customers or clients, perhaps even increasing business, increase name recognition, establish an expertise in a particular area, communicate important changes, whether that be in technology, legislation, or other aspects in your industry, and ultimately to attract new customers or clients. All of these goals can be achieved with a webinar. So let's talk about the webinar model. There's really three things. The first, you send out invitations to generate an audience, you deliver your content, and you follow up with those who participated and try to close some business. In terms of inviting your audience and growing it, several places to start. Start with your customer or client list. If you have a prospect list, gather the cards from the folks in your marketing group and put together, or others in your firm, and put together a list that you get mailed to. If you happen to be sending out a newsletter on a particular topic, be sure to include a link inviting them to your webinar to explain that topic further. It's a great way to know whether the article is read and if there's further interest in that particular subject. And always a link on your website to bring them right into the registration process for the webinar. The webinar itself is pretty easy to do. It needs to be on a relevant topic, and you need to have knowledgeable speakers, but it's just like giving any other presentation that you give to any other audience, except instead of being in the room, they are dialing in remotely. After the webinar, it's easy to send them surveys, which is a good way of measuring interest and what the next follow-up steps might be. It may actually generate specific inquiries outbound from the customer/prospect to you for further information. And it's always good to follow up a webinar with some post-event communication, perhaps a download of a white paper or a brochure, a link to some special promotion. All of that generates further interest. So how do you generate the audience? Well, it starts with a good email list of existing customers and clients, even lost customers and clients, and then gathering contacts from everyone else in the firm. A viral approach always helps. The ideal thing is in your invitation to encourage the invitees to forward the invitation to other colleagues, and other colleagues invite other colleagues, and before you know it, you have a large audience. I mentioned before a link in your newsletter, and importantly, a link on your website to the registration process, both for upcoming events that are webinars to come, and also you could record webinars, and you could have a link to those recordings right from your website, which could generate interest on a past topic. And press releases are a good way to generate it, a trade press, trade journal. There are a couple of online sites, PR.com as one that could help you send out press releases relatively inexpensively. Well, here's the sales funnel. We've all seen something like this. You email your contacts, you send them to fewer as you screen your contact list. Of those, there'll be some registrants. Of the registrants, fewer will attend. Some will follow up, and then finally, at the very bottom, we'll generate some clients or customers out of that process. You know, it's a webinar. It doesn't take a long time. This is a rough timetable of how long it takes. It's a 10-day thought process from the planning all the way to the event down to the follow-up. And it's a couple of steps. You've got the planning process to pick your topic, registration to get that set up so people could get the information for joining, actually sending out the invitation. Normally, it's a good idea to have a dress rehearsal a few days before to go over the relevant topics and ensure a smooth flow of the presentation. Conducting the event, and then the all-important follow-up with the post-event communications. The cost is, not that bad. There's a chunk of staff time, which is involved in a couple of areas: putting together the presentation, doing the marketing, conducting the event, and then the follow-up. From a webinar standpoint, it's figure on about $8 per head per connection, actually, for a 30-minute session, and say $50 to $75 to get an email blast out using Constant Contact or another one of the email delivery services. Meetingbridge also happens to have an email blast tool inside its event management system. So it's not a hard thing to do. This is the host toolbar that I'm looking at. You once you log on, this toolbar downloads to your browser. You upload your presentation. This is how you advance your slides. It's easy to record the session, and there's a button for online help to walk you through some of the steps if you need it. So I hope you feel you really don't need any technical resources or background to do this. We can help you every step of the way. Our motto is you bring the speakers, we do everything else. So I hope you found this informative. And if you'd like to contact us, contact me. Here's my phone number, my email address, and you can visit us at www.meetingbridge.com. And I thank you for joining us today.